And coming up this evening, NDC minority in Parliament invites Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to participate in the debate of the mid-year budget statement in Parliament on Thursday. We'll bring you excerpts of the statement issued by the minority, plus here from the camp of Vice President Dr. Bawumia. Also, National Road Safety Authority reveals about 1,200 persons killed from road crashes between January to June 2024, a 13% increase in the 1,095 deaths recorded in the same period last year.
Research at our end shows that there are four major causes to it. The first being feeding, second being ineffectiveness, third, loss of control of the vehicle, and the fourth being dangerous overtaking or wrongful overtaking.
Also in the bulletin this evening, brother of late President John Evans Fifi Atta Mills issues stern warning to former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koku Anyudoho, for constantly using the name of Professor Mills and attempts to distort the Mills family history.
Koku should understand that every political power that you have has an expiration date. That political power will expire one of these days. And when it does, he will see his smoothness level. He should rather get a job, a proper job.
And later, chairperson for the Justice for All program demands investigations into how an inmate has been held behind bars at the Kumasi Central Prisons 5 months after a circuit court discharged him. We've got details of these stories and more coming up shortly in the bulletin. Stay with me.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Grateful for your company this evening. Welcome aboard Ghana's most comprehensive news analysis program, Starr Today, here on Starr 103.5 FM, simply the best. Tonight, as always, we're streaming live on Facebook, so do join us live on facebook.com/Starr 103.5 FM. You can join us there. You see our live stream, like it, be a part of it, and also share it so others can benefit from that. And you can send me your thoughts, your comments, your views, and contributions to the stories that we'll be tackling this evening there. Alternatively, you can send all of those to our WhatsApp number 0552 880 216. 0552 880 216. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Let's do the details of our stories now, and let's start from the camp of the minority MPs. And the NDC minority in Parliament has extended an invite to the Vice President and flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to join the debate on the mid-year budget review presented by Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam yesterday. Now, the invite, according to the minority MPs, presents an excellent opportunity and forum for Dr. Bawumia to debate and account for stewardship as chair of the economic management team. We'll be getting some reactions from the camp of Dr. Bawumia. But before we do that, let me do excerpts of the statement issued here. And it says that the NDC minority has lined up a crack team of highly knowledgeable and competent members on its side to debate Vice President Bawumia and further expose the abysmal economic performance of his government, for a government that has completely destroyed Ghana's economy, rendered 33.3% of Ghana's population extremely poor, and about 2 million Ghanaians facing acute food and nutrition insecurity, according to the World Bank, and about 35% of Ghana's youth unemployed. The minority finds it bewildering that Alhaji Bawumia still has the audacity to call for a debate on the economy. So let's get on the phone lines now and speak to Kofi Tonto, his aide to Dr. Bawumia. He's joined us for a conversation on this one. Kofi, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm very well. I'm currently speaking from the Upper West,
Right,
region, where we are currently touring
Mm.
for the campaign.
Mm. And how is the campaign going so far in the Upper West region?
Oh, so far it's going exceedingly well. We've been received very, very well by the good people in the Upper West. We started off in Savannah, from Daboya Mankrago to Bole Bamboy to Sola Tuna Kaba, and then came to to the Upper West and did Wa Central, Wa West, Lambusie, Nandom, Laura. Today we are doing Wa East, Dafiama, and then Nadoli Kalio, and continuing on to the Jirapa, Sisala East, Sisala West, and then enter Upper East and continue from there. So far so good. It's been.
And what has the reception been like in all these areas that you've toured with the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia?
The reception has been very, very warm. When we come to the constituencies, we first go to the paramount chiefs or the sub-chief, usually paramount chiefs within the constituencies. We pay a courtesy call on them, engage them. They also engage us by telling us their views on the overall governance for the last 7.5 years and then their expectations. Then the Vice President gets the opportunity to also espouse his vision. But then what runs through is the fact that the people are exceedingly grateful for what we have done for them. When you go to the places where we've created new regions, they are very grateful for the regions we've created for them. And then they are also highlighting the developmental projects we have done. For example, when we went to Nandom, the paramount chief of Nandom, now Professor Edmond Delechie the Eighth, he spoke extensively about the developmental projects that we have brought to the people of Nandom. Spoke about the schools we built. We spoke about the bridge we are currently building between Nandom and Laura. And then we spoke about the fact that indeed the Nandom Senior High has benefited from the one tablet, one student, one tablet policy, and actually mentioned the number of tablets the school has received, 1,138 laptops. That's the level of details they are giving us.
Right.
And then, of course, once they are done, they will raise issues on developmental projects, on roads, etc., that they feel we've done some, but there is more for us to do. So these are the conversations we are having. And then once we finish that, we engage the stakeholders, being it the clergy, the imams, etc. Then we do what we call community connect, where we allow the community members to come and sit, in thereby, if you call it. And then we engage them as well. And then finally, we do what we call youth connect, where we engage the youth directly as well. Then we move on to the next constituency. Throughout.
It looks like you really do have your hands full on the campaign trail. But while all of that is happening in the Upper West region, here in Accra, the minority in Parliament say that, well, Dr. Bawumia has been calling for a debate. So now they want to give him an opportunity to debate on the economy, but on the media budget review, which will be debated on Thursday. They want Dr. Bawumia to come to Parliament, be a part of the debate, so that we can talk about the issues. And then Dr. Bawumia will have that opportunity for the debate that he's been calling for from John Dramani Mahama. This time, it will be the minority MPs with him on the debate, on the media budget review. Is this something you're considering?
My brother, you even listen to what you just reiterated to me. Is it not laughable that we have a body, which body has sides? It can be two sides or multiple sides. But as it stands, it has two sides. It has the majority and the minority, both MPP and NDC on each side. We don't have any other party. Okay. And that house is actually a house for debate. Is that not so? It's a house for debate.
Right.
And fortunately, we have the Minister of Finance, who is a member of the House. Minister of Agriculture, who is a member of the House. We have other financial experts in the House, Kwaku Kwarteng, all of these people who are experts in their own endeavors. How do you want to skip people who are on your level when it comes to these things? You want to skip them and say that you want to go and debate somebody. So you want to assemble a team of about 10 people to go and debate somebody. What is the purpose of Parliament? When the finance minister comes to Parliament to read the budget on behalf of the president, the finance minister would then with the minority, the majority. They will have a debate. Is that not how it is done? They will have a debate on the budget. And then they will dissect anything, whichever questions you have. If it's agriculture, they will answer it. If it's finance, we will answer it. If it's the economy, we will answer it. So we have equally competent people there. What we are asking for is a leader versus leader conversation. A flag bearer versus flag bearer conversation. My brother, where else in the world do one political party assemble a team of subordinates, 10 or so subordinates, to go and debate one person? Have you heard that before? It's laughable. It just doesn't make sense. So what we are saying is that John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, has been a president before, and he wants to be a president again. He should come and debate somebody who also wants to be a president at that level. Equal playing field, equal time, equal opportunity to debate. One, explain and speak to your records, and then two, espouse the vision. Because you see, what is lost on the minority is that in their mind, they think everything is a one-way thing. No. There are leaders who are asking to govern this nation, which leaders must espouse clearly their vision to the people of this republic. And that vision must be put to strict test by their counterparts. So it's not just even speaking to your record, but it's about espousing your vision and clearly articulating your vision whilst another leader is criticizing that vision and punching holes or otherwise in it to see how valid your ideas are. So the question to them is, why is John Mahama afraid to debate Mahmoud Bawumia?
But the response from the minority or from the NDC is that John Mahama is not afraid. John Mahama does not, in this case, will not be a part of the debate just simply because the vice president is calling for it. That's what the communicators have told us.
But why should, if John Mahama will not be part of a debate, why should Bawumia be part of their debate?
They say he's the leader of the economic management team.
Yeah, and he's the leader of the economic. He's the chairman of the economic management team. John Mahama was the president, okay, the final decider of this republic for 4.5 years, and then also the vice president for 3.5 years. So why is somebody who has been a president afraid to debate his records and his vision? Why are they covering him? Why are they running cover for him?
But they also raise issues about similar calls made earlier, where we also heard Dr. Bawumia not interested in basically going to a debate.
When did Dr. Bawumia say he's not interested? I mean, this issue, I even debated it with Randy Abbey on Good Morning Ghana the other day. And I was telling him that Dr. Bawumia's comments on this whole debate thing is that you are running around making commentary about the governance and about me. And I am saying that, okay, fine. I am ready to engage you one-on-one so we can discuss the things you are saying about me. Mano.
Mano a mano.
Mano a mano. Huh? You are the street boy, so you understand it better than me. Mano a mano. So we debate it better. You said, and he then proceeds to say that, okay, if you are not willing to do that, that is fine. I will continue to engage the people. So I'll go to the people. I'll go to the constituencies and engage the people, which is what he's doing. Right. So Dr. Bawumia just said, if you are going to discuss my ideas, I am ready to discuss it with you. My brother, do you recall just about, I think somewhere in May, they had a CEO summit. I'm sure you recall.
Yes, I do.
And then John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, spoke at the summit. His Excellency, the Vice President, was actually in Canada at that time. But he tuned in via Zoom to listen to John Dramani Mahama speak. And then, when it was his turn, he asked His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to respectfully wait and listen to him as well. And then he put out his record and his vision. And even challenged him there, said, my brother, I've sat down and listened to you. You've also listened to me. I am ready for us to debate on these things. And people even dubbed it a mini debate. So what stops John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, to just go into details on this debate and engage further, one-on-one, and debate it? So where from this frivolous idea that a group of parliamentarians who have equally competent, if not far more competent parliamentarians on the other side, to debate you, and you say, no, we won't debate our counterparts, we'll come and debate somebody else. How does that work?
So in the scheme of things, in this particular context, Dr. Bawumia is clearly above the debate that has been called for by the minority MPs.
No, it's not even above or below. My point is, what is the process and what is the procedure?
Right.
The process and the procedure is that when the finance minister reads the budget, there is an opportunity for the minority and the majority to debate this in the big house. Is that not so?
That's
and
so.
I'm saying that there are persons who are in charge of specific areas. For example, agriculture, roads, Western housing, finance, etc. The areas that you want to debate. There are people there whose job is to supervise over these ministries. So why do you skip them when the Constitution clearly indicates, your standing orders clearly indicate that you ought to debate your counterparts in Parliament on the budget? So how do you say that, oh no, we are not going to debate our counterparts, we are going to debate somebody else? So are they saying that Vice President should come and give a speech, and then after the speech they will debate him? Or the Vice President should take the budget and then they will ask him questions on the budget? You think about it, oh, my brother. Think about it. Does it make sense to you? Somebody has written a budget on behalf of the president. The person who wrote the budget is a member of the House. You don't want to ask that person a question. You want to come and ask somebody else the question. It doesn't make sense. We are willing to debate His Excellency, the former president, John Dramani Mahama. We are willing to engage him.
So it's either
our parliamentarians will also engage the NDC parliamentarians. Communicators will engage communicators. It's not an issue.
Okay. So for Dr. Bawumia, is John Dramani Mahama Amano or nobody else?
No, but my brother, who are the people contesting? Dr. Bawumia can debate anybody who is contesting for the leadership of this country. So if any institution wants to set up a debate between John Dramani Mahama, Bawumia, Honorable Alan, Cheddar, or any other person who wants to lead this country, there's no issues.
So the argument is that it has to be a presidential debate. It doesn't have to be a presidential candidate and any other person. No. That's the point you're establishing.
No, my brother, how can it be a presidential candidate and parliamentarians? How does that work?
Right.
How do you assemble 10 people and say that you come and say that we are going to ask you questions? How does that work? You see, when we even have a debate, do you know why we don't put NDC and NPP people to be the neutral arbiters? We put, generally, the idea is you put people who are neutrals to be the arbiters.
Right.
So how can you take somebody who is an adversary and sit you on a table and ask you a million questions, clearly coming from a biased standpoint? The point is this. We have equally competent people in Parliament who can debate them. The Vice President will debate His Excellency John Dramani Mahama because they are the two leaders vying to lead this country. And any other person who is vying to lead this country can participate in that debate. There is no issues. But where from this whole thing that a group of parliamentarians are going to debate. No, you think about it. Do you think a group of MPP communicators can call John Dramani Mahama and say that we are also going to debate John Dramani Mahama? You ask yourself, where will it end? Okay, so NDC parliamentarians have called. Tomorrow, should the MPP parliamentarians also call John Dramani Mahama and say that come and sit down so we also debate?
Right.
Or the MPP communicators call John Mahama and say come and sit down, we'll debate you. How does that work? The people, the people will debate those they have to debate.
Very well.
Parliamentarians will represent the people. And then they will debate on behalf of the people.
Very well.
His Excellency will also debate His Excellency or any other leader who wants to lead this country.
Okay.
Respectfully, that is all we are asking for. You know, that is all we are asking for.
Kofi, thank you. Thank you so much. I know there's so much you need to be doing now, but grateful that you spent some time with us this evening.
Yeah, I'm also grateful. I was looking forward for us to discuss the credit scoring system, but I know time is fast.
Exactly. But we'll be doing that on TV. We're doing that on TV.
That's completely fine.
Fantastic.
That's completely fine.
Kofi, thank you.
I'm grateful to you and your cherished listeners as well.
Thank you.
That's Kofi Tonto. He's aide to Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, the flag bearer of the NPP, and also the Vice President of the Republic. And it's quite clear they will not engage in any debate with minority MPs. And they say it's only a presidential debate they are looking for. So whoever is also a presidential candidate or an aspirant, clearly they would give attention to that, but not to minority MPs. This is Starr today on Starr 103.5 FM. Now, let's look at some other stories this evening. And the National Road Safety Authority has revealed that about 1,200 persons were killed from road crashes between January to June 2024. According to them, cases reported, vehicles involved, persons injured and pedestrian knockdowns all decreased by 4%, 5%, 4.5%, 3.8% and 1% respectively from January to June 2024, while persons killed increased by 13% when compared to the same period of 2023. Now, a total of 6,653 road traffic crashes were reported from January to June 2024. These crashes involved 11,283 vehicles of all categories and 8,798 casualties. Now, EIB's Christabel Affle with the research desk has joined me in studio for details of the report. So, Christabel, you have been going through the report. What more is contained in there?
Yeah, so the National Road Safety Authority's report has revealed that over 1,200 people have been killed as a result of road crashes. That's from January to June 2024.
The first half of the year?
Yes, in the first half of the year. But then if you compare, if you check from last year, in the same period last year, you can see there has been a 13% increase in the number of people who have been killed. But then relatively, apart from the persons which have been killed, there has been a decrease in all the indications, like the vehicles that causes the crashes, the type of vehicles used, and then the cases reported, pedestrians knocked down. There has been a decrease. So in all, you can see that there has been some kind of. But then if we want to go into details, let's take first the vehicles that are involved in the crashes.
Right.
So according to the reports, they segregated it into commercial vehicles, private ones, and then motorcycles. And then interestingly, it's the private vehicles that has recorded an increase.
So an increase rather in private vehicles.
It's interesting because there's motorcycle there, and then ordinarily everyone would think
have thought
that
yes, the
motorcycles. But then if you check from January to June this year, the private cars actually has caused road crashes about 715 road crashes.
Wow.
Yes.
Attributed to private vehicles.
Only private vehicles, 715. And then motorcycles are actually around 424, although it's not, but it's actually a decrease if you compare it to same time last year, which not a high decrease. It was around 422.
Marginal, but still a decrease.
Still a decrease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it will make a good case for why they feel that activities of motorcyclists should be regulated and not necessarily banned and outlawed. Interesting.
So that's it for the vehicles. And then if you want to check on the pedestrians knockdown,
right,
that's, you see, the people are important. So if we look at it from January to June, same period, there has been a decrease.
Okay.
It's also a marginal decrease though. But then if you want to look on month to month from January to June, it's been increasing.
That's when the numbers are going up.
From January, it was 217. It came to 164 in February. But then from March, 192 to 206 in April, 217 in May, and then 223 in June.
So many lives we are losing on the various roads.
So if it's on a month-to-month basis, we can say that the pedestrians knockdown has been increasing. Yeah. But then if we want to compare the same time period last year, we've recorded a decrease. So in June last year, we recorded 197 pedestrians knockdown. Yeah. But then currently, we are seeing a decline in all those. And I don't want to bore listeners with all the...
We'll also be getting answers from the Road Safety Authority on all of this.
Yeah.
Right.
So it has to be emphasized that when it comes to Greater Accra region, the fatalities has dropped compared to 2023. But then Ashanti region, has recorded a hike in the number of deaths.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what, Christabel, thank you so much. Let's get on the phone lines and let's put some questions to the National Road Safety Authority on why we are seeing this. Pearl Edusu Satekla, she is the PRO for the National Road Safety Authority. Pearl, thank you so much for your time this evening.
You're welcome.
I hope you're doing very well.
By grace, I'm fine. How about you?
I'm well, but unfortunately for some 1,200 people, they've had to lose their lives on the roads in the first half of this year. What exactly is happening?
This is rather unfortunate. We're doing everything possible to see a reduction in the total crash, fatality, and all the other indicators. Yet, we see that some indicators reduced marginally, but especially fatality and the pedestrian knockdowns also went up significantly and marginally, which is very unfortunate and worrying. Some of the factors that we have as a record at our end is, first of all, excessive speeding. Research has shown in research that about 85 to 90% of Ghanaian drivers exceed the speed limit. And so excessive speeding results in fatalities and serious injuries when crash occurs.
People are really speeding?
Really, really speeding. When there is congestion, traffic congestion, especially in the urban areas, especially in the cities, you will not see it. But after they've dodged or they are out of the congestion, they want to make up for the lost time.
Right.
And so they speed. A highway that has to take about 90 or 80 kilometers per hour, people exceed it by about 20, 30, 40 kilometers. People go as far as 160, 110. But we don't even have 110 in our laws in Ghana. The last speed limit is 100 kilometers on the motorway, which is only one, the Accra-Tema motorway. Apart from that, there should not be any way in Ghana, whether it is a dualized road, an asphalt, or otherwise, it should not exceed 90 and 80 on a highway, 50 at settlements, 30 kilometers at school places and congested places like marketplaces and other places. But you will see people around 100 and 120, even at settlement. And so drivers are really speeding on our roads in Ghana. That is the first thing. The second one is inattentiveness. A lot of our drivers are distracted from driving because they are fidgeting phone, they are making calls, they are chatting, passengers are disturbing them, or they are doing one or two things in their vehicles while driving, which is very, very dangerous. A lot of the drivers, especially the commercial drivers, are always absent-minded because they are rushing to catch up with exorbitant, how do they call it, the money they have to give to the car owners. And so they're always in a hurry, maybe has been provoked by one person or the other. So people are always inattentive whilst driving. We also have loss of control of the vehicle.
Right.
This one comes because of a lot of factors. The road factor can make you lose control. The vehicle itself, the vehicle factor can also make you lose control. Speeding can make you lose control as well. Drink driving and alcohol intake with drink driving, and then intake of drugs can also make you lose control of the vehicle. The last one is dangerous overtaking or wrongful overtaking. As I already said, when they are kept long in the congestion in the cities or urban areas, and they get out of it, they want to get to their destination, beat the time or make up for lost times. And so you see multiple of cars slowing down and they have to overtake them, not taking into consideration that most of our roads are not dualized and they are one lane. And so the moment they speed to bypass the other vehicles, another overcoming vehicle, they collide. And most deaths occurs when there is head-on collisions. There are other factors though, but these are the four major causation factors to the increase in the death rate in the recent statistics that we've given, which is very, very unfortunate. So it comprises a lot of things. The road factor is another factor, vehicular factor. You know, nowadays, per our education and interaction with a lot of drivers, we realize that the right type of tires, people don't know it. So they buy just any tire. They don't know the expiring date. And so, per the system, the conditions we have, they fix wrong tires under their vehicles. And when you are speeding and per chance the tires burst, it is fatal. It will be fatal. So these are some of the things. And then, as we just came out from the rainy season, slippery roads to contribute to a loss of control of vehicles. So these are some of the factors, especially the most major factors that contribute to the increase in fatalities that we are seeing.
Now, for me, another worrying trend I spotted was the fact that now we are seeing rather an increase in fatalities caused by, or crashes caused by private vehicles as compared to commercial vehicles. Is that as well as a result of the fact that we have more ride-hailing services? What exactly is happening there?
The ride-hailing services are also categorized under the commercial vehicle.
Right.
They are not part of the private vehicle.
So this number is without the ride-hailing services?
Yeah, without the ride-hailing services.
Right.
What is happening is that because the commercial vehicles are under associations and under operators who have their data available, they are easily targeted for education. We are able to get access to them easily, and we educate them. And because they are under a particular management, they also complement our work by giving their drivers bylaws to adhere to. And so if you don't adhere, you violate, your association or your union or your operator will sanction you. So they tend to behave on the road than the private vehicles who are not under any control. they do whatever they like. Well, there is no sanction, there is nobody to monitor. That's how come the private vehicles are now overtaking the commercial vehicles in crashes. But the fatality, because the commercial vehicles will have high occupancy biases, the passengers are more than the ones that the private vehicles take. So most fatality come from the commercial vehicles.
And that's clearly understandable. And so with these numbers and the increases that we are seeing, I'm sure that it is informing more sensitization from your outfit, and also what should it portend for us, the general public, especially going into the next half of the year. We've already started. We are way into July, ending July, getting into August and all of that. What should all of this inform for us?
The general public, we have to say that road safety is a shared and collective responsibility. And so we all have a role to play in combating crashes in our country or reducing the number of crashes on our roads. The drivers, the media, policymakers, institutions, duty-bearer institutions, we all have a stake. So your duty, whatever duty you have to play to make sure crashes come down, you have to do it with all seriousness, without laxity. That is the problem. People are not doing the work they have to do. Law enforcement has to be strengthened, or stricter law enforcement has to be put in place. That is why I'm happy that over the years, Ghana Police Service and National Road Safety behind the scenes have worked, and it is now arrived that we deploy cameras on vantage points or throughout the country to monitor drivers day and night. And infractions or their mistakes will be detected by cameras, and by connecting them to DVLA backroom machines, we will be able to take their numbers, the car owner numbers, and be able to show them video evidence of infractions they've committed on the road, thereby sanctioning them without any human interference. We are hoping that the introduction of this technology way of enforcing road traffic regulation will go a long way to deter recalcitrant road user behavior on our roads. We are hoping and looking forward to this road traffic enforcement. We are hoping that when it comes to complement our educational efforts, we'll be able to see significant reduction in our classes in the coming years.
Very well. Pearl, it's always a pleasure speaking to you on matters as this, as we also give our quota in educating the public and supporting this shared responsibility of ours. Thank you so much this evening.
You are doing a human's job. Thank you, and keep it up.
Very well, Pearl. Thank you.
Too. So that's Pearl Edususa-Tekla. She is the PR of the National Road Safety Authority. This is Starr today on Starr 103.5 FM. We have more for you shortly. Stay with us.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Ridge and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Starr Today. Burst, fast, and credible.
Thank you so much for staying on with us right here on Starr 103.5 FM. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and more stories this evening. In a display of unity and resentment, members of the New Patriotic Party in the Sefirioso constituency staged a protest against Speaker of Parliament Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. The protest was sparked by an incident in Parliament where the Speaker ejected Dr. Kwekwefriye, their MP, from the chamber over what was described as a rude comment. There's more in this report.
The streets of Sefioso were lined with party supporters, placards held high, demanding respect for their elected representative. The demonstration, which drew NPP constituency and regional executives, was a powerful reminder of the community's pride and solidarity.
Because making a prejudicial comment on the floor of Parliament by the Speaker is unparliamentary. Since the standing orders eschewed and banned the Speaker from engaging in a debate in the floor of Parliament.
The incidents that ignited the protest occurred in Parliament when Dr. Kodjo allegedly made a comment deemed inappropriate by the Speaker. The situation escalated quickly, resulting in the MP's expulsion from the chamber. This action was perceived by the Sishuyoso constituents as not only a personal affront to their representative, but as an insult to the entire community.
Because he has demeaned the office of the MP. Remember, the MP is the MP for Sishuyoso. Sishuyoso is the regional capital for Western North. Sishuyoso controls 6 out of the 9 districts in the Western North region, and therefore, any affront on the constituency is an affront on the Western North in totality.
Protesters filled the streets chanting slogans and waving banners that read, "Respect our MP," and Sishuyoso deserves better. Their message was clear: the constituency would not rest until their grievances were addressed. The protesters have given Speaker Bagbin a 1-week ultimatum to issue a formal apology.
The people of Sishuyoso continue to demand an unqualified apology for his behavior. It's becoming unparliamentary of him. It is the Speaker's duty to maintain order and sanity. He has to be impartial at the Speaker's parliament.
The Sishuyoso protest is not just a call for an apology. It is a rallying cry for respect and recognition, a testament to the power of the community and political engagements. With tensions high and emotions running deep, the Sishuyoso protest underscores the complexities of political dynamics in Ghana and the importance of dialogue and respect in navigating these challenges. As the deadline looms, the nation watches closely to see how the Speaker will respond to these demands.
Well, so that's a report on what transpired in Sishuyoso. But let's get on the phone lines and speak to the NPP's constituency secretary in the area, Atta Mafo. Atta Mafo, good evening.
Good evening, boss.
I hope you're doing well, my brother.
I'm doing very, very well. And you?
I'm okay. But today it looks like you are not happy, so there was a demonstration in the area. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, let me take this opportunity to greet you and your listeners. And probably if you have viewers too, I want to greet them as well. Yes, it was an issue that happened just 2 days ago concerning the sacking of our Member of Parliament, Dr. Kodjo, from the chamber by the Speaker. This erupted the energies of the youth and the people of Sishuyoso. We didn't take it kindly the way the Speaker of Parliament treated our Honorable Member of Parliament on that fateful day. That is why the youth and the constituents demonstrated against the Speaker.
And in this demonstration, exactly what are you calling for? What are you demanding? What are you hoping to achieve with this?
The issues are that, one, Dr. Kodjo, Honorable, represent the good people of Sishuyoso. The Constitution doesn't entertain any sort of indisciplined action that happens in the chamber. And therefore, there are standing orders that need to be followed before a member can be sacked or removed from Parliament. That issue wasn't followed by the Speaker. The Standing Order 35 that mandates the Speaker to remove an honorable member from Parliament wasn't followed. Even the procedures, the 129, which stipulate the procedures that a member presiding to follow before he can remove a member from the chamber, wasn't followed. So we are angry, and we poured out our anger to the Speaker, and we are demanding that the Speaker render unqualified apology, one, to the people of Sishuyoso, two, to the Member of Parliament himself, Honorable Dr. Kodjo, and 3, to the President, because it is the President who has nominated those 5 judges to be appointed. If you care to know, one of the judges, called Justice Amuakon Asante, he's a son of the soil of Seri. And therefore, anything that bars those people from being vetted in the appointment committee affect the people of Seri also directly. And we don't take it kindly. And that is why we are calling on the Speaker of Parliament to render unqualified apology within 7 days, as we advise ourselves and take the necessary action against the Speaker.
Within 7 days, and since this protest, have you had any indication whatsoever that this is going to happen?
Yes, clandestinely. Yesterday we heard that the Speaker called our MP to his chamber and they have settled the issues amicably. But we want the Speaker of Parliament to come into public and say that what happened was unfortunate. Because look at, there is a social media something going on between Muntaka and the Speaker of Parliament. Muntaka even referred to the Speaker of Parliament as being a tyrant. Did he sack him? History is the best judge. Honorable Babi, when he was the minority leader in 2003, he declared war on Alajete. May his soul rest in peace. Was he sacked from Parliament? Was he sacked? No. So why do you sack an honorable member who has made his case known? Even if he erred, there are procedures. You can allow him to retract. You can call him to order. None of the issues was followed. He just sacked the person, humiliated the person. And that is why the people of Sekiri also are calling on the Speaker to render the apology. We don't need that private thing that they have done yesterday. We need a public apology. That's all.
Very well. Atamafu, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
So that's Sekirioso's MPP Constituency Secretary Atamafu speaking to us on the decision of the Speaker to eject their MP from Parliament for what was described as rude comments. Well, they say they want a public apology from the Speaker on this particular matter. But from there, let's move to other stories, because brother of late President John Evans Fifi Atamils, Samuel Atamils, has issued a stern warning to dismissed former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Koku Anyidoho, for constantly using the name of Professor Mills for his personal benefit and fomenting trouble. Earlier, before the 12th memorial service to celebrate the late president at the Asunje Park in Accra, confusion erupted when Koku Anyidoho overran his scheduled time, delaying the second NDC event at the venue to mark 12 years since President Mills' passing. But in an interview with Starr News' Obed Kingaglo, Samuel Atamils, who doubles as the MP for Commander Edinegwa Brim, accused Koku Anyidoho of distorting the family history and being funded by invisible political powers, hinting that the next move is to place an injunction on him from using the name of Professor Mills.
Welcome to be part of this group. But since the head had been cut off and he had run away, they were left here aimless. Koku is doing that with somebody behind it. Some people are financing it. And I dare say it's a political power that is behind it. But Koku should understand that every political power that you have has an expiration date. That political power will expire one of these days. And when it does, he will see his smoothness level. Other people financing. He should rather get a job, a proper job. And right now, he has seen what we've done to him. The next move is to put an injunction on him from using the name Atamils. He is not an Atamils. He will never be an Atamils. And that's what it is. Now he's trying to distort our family history. Look, he brought a woman over here who was supposed to be Prof's mother. He claims that we have a different mother. Now Prof's mother, the supposed Prof's mother, our mother passed away in 1992. They brought an 80-year-old woman over here to say that she is Prof's mother. If Prof had lived, he would have been 80 years this week. So how can you and your mother be of the same age? his mother are twins? What kind of crazy stuff is this? He should find a job and quit being a parasite.
You heard Samuel Atta Mills, his brother to late Professor John Evans Fifi Atta Mills. Now, Chairperson for the Justice for All program, Justice Angelina Mensah has directed that investigations be conducted into a situation that resulted in the Kumasi Central prisons keeping an inmate in prison 5 months after he was discharged by circuit court. The prison service in the Ashanti region insists it only obeyed a valid warrant presented by an investigator for the incarceration of the victim. The issue came up when the Justice for All program held its in-prison sitting in the Kumasi Central prisons. My colleague with Ultimate FM, Ivan Heathcote-Fumador, has more in the following report.
2 in-prison mobile courts presided by Supervising High Court Judge Justice Hannah Taylor and Justice Frederick Tete adjudicated 31 cases of pre-trial inmates at the Kumasi Central prisons. The justices declined bail for 13 inmates, successfully released 13 on bail with sureties, discharged 3 inmates, and struck out 2 cases for insufficient grounds. Steering Committee Chairperson for the Justice for All program, Justice Angelina Mensah was utterly unsettled when it came to her notice that a 14-year-old inmate who had been discharged by the courts was still languishing in jail 5 months after securing his release in a circuit court.
This morning we encountered the issue of one prisoner who was discharged by the circuit court as far back as February 2024 and is still being held at the prisons. This is very unfortunate, and we will ensure that this prisoner, who has overstayed for 5 months, leaves the Kumasi Central Prison today before we also leave the premises. This is very much unfair, and had it not been the Justice for All program, we would not have uncovered this unfortunate event.
Responding to the incident, the acting officer in charge of the Kumasi Central Prisons, Chief Superintendent of Prisons Alex Ejay, expressed surprise with the case. He insisted that the inmate was brought back to the prisons by an investigator with a valid warrant from the court.
I'm even surprised about the leadership about this guy in Kawe case, but it is not our fault. Whenever the warrant, so far the warrant is genuine, we don't know anything until the police come for you.
Was the warrant genuine? Did you verify?
Yes, it's genuine. It's very genuine.
This should not happen to any Ghanaian citizen. And I continue to ask, who signed the warrant for the investigator to bring the accused person back to prison? In this case, he was discharged by the courts. And so, yes, you have told me that he has been released now, but I'm still probing. I need further answers. Justice for All program needs further answers.
The Justice of the Court of Appeal, Angelina Mensah, was however satisfied. The Justice for All program has successfully reduced the number of remand prisoners from 33% to 10% of the prison population between 2018 and May 2024. She appealed for the program and its collaborators to take advantage of plea bargaining to expedite trial as the Chief Justice works at fixing other factors causing delays in justice delivery.
Facilitators of the Justice for All program must also take their more interest in the operationalization of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Amendments Act 2022, Section 162A, on plea bargaining. Plea bargaining is also essential, and I believe this will help in reducing overcrowding in prisons across the country.
The prison service and facilitators for the Justice for All program all pushed for the quick amendment to allow for non-custodial sentences while reducing lapses in the criminal justice system.
These non-custodial sentences, we are waiting for the bill, whether it is in Parliament or we are waiting for it to be passed, so that many of these inmates will not come here and waste their time here. When there's communal labor, they can do that, and then after 2-3 months, they are off.
There are lapses that are within the criminal justice system. And when we say criminal justice system, it's not just the judiciary. the police investigator is not bringing the case, the evidence, the judiciary cannot discharge the person nor also convict the person based on nothing. So these are systemic issues that...
This will be the first time the Justice for All program is sitting in person after it switched to virtual settings because of COVID-19 prevention and control protocols. Reporting from the Kumasi prisons for Starr News, Ivan Heathcote Fumado, Ultimate FM, Kumasi.
And here in the studios of Starr 103.5 FM, I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. So now let me bring you an interview between my colleague Natalie Ford and then the aide to former President John Dramani Mahama, who is also the flag bearer of the NDC, heading into the 2024 general elections, Joyce Mukhtar Bawa. They've been looking at quite a myriad of issues, from politics to the calls for a debate from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then the 24-hour economy. Listen.
Every Ghanaian knows that the challenge for John Mahama is not about debates. That's really not the conversation. Secondly, debates are just a convention. They are not regulated. They are not part of the law. Not even part of the absolutely.
To know the
and there are so many people who actually host debates, and there are just as many platforms where we can share our policies and have these conversations. But the final decision on whether or not the National Democratic Congress will be participating in a debate or the other does not lie in my mouth. I'm sure it's a decision that the flag bearer will make, the running mate will make, and of course the party will decide as well. But what I actually don't like, and I think I expressed my reservations, is the fact that you issue a release of that kind when you have not even hitherto had any consultations with us or written to us formally or even informed us. And then it was a timing too, because it was immediately after the candidate on the other side had actually thrown a bait. My sister, in 2016, then candidate Akufo-Addo declined an invitation by everybody to debate. Nothing happened. In 2020, he declined a similar debate. Indeed, at the time, his then partner and running mate was the one literally disrespecting everybody and telling us who to go and debate. What has changed over 4 years? I'm sure that debates are still not the determining factor for whether you win an election or not. And debates don't indicate whether your policies would be probably better preferred. They didn't debate in 2016. They didn't debate in 2020. So what has changed? You know, seriously, I don't want to spend too much time on this conversation, especially regarding the IEA or what they say or not. I've actually had a conversation with the IEA. And when we lift the veil of incorporation, we know who is behind the IEA. But
is that your problem? Is that your problem? You say lifting the veil of incorporation shows, and this is...
There is that, and then there's also the perception. Right. I see no reason why that release would come on the back
of the call made by the MPP flag bearer.
And then to think that the release did not even refer or even criticize, even passing, you know, just passively, the fact that they had declined in 2016 and declined in 2020. So please, I think that nothing happened. It didn't change anything.
Is your problem the person who's behind the IEA?
You know, as I said, there are many platforms. There's a GBC one, there's the IEA, there's Imani. I don't want to make it a personal thing. All I'm saying is that before you invite anybody, at least have a certain conversation, consult them, or even send them a letter privately. Don't issue a release and assume that everybody's going to follow you, because at the end of the day, this is just merely a convention.
Now, Ms. Mukhtar, you say it's merely a convention, but at the same time, it's a platform that allows the electorate to know what's in the minds and better details the policies of the flag bearers of these parties. Do you not owe it somewhat to the electorate to grant this?
It is not the only platform. There are many platforms.
So you're not going to honor the IEA platform?
So I am not actually indicating whether or not it's about the IEA. I'm just saying that, one, we didn't like the approach. Secondly, I think that it was wrong. Thirdly, I think it sought to actually give the impression that we were actually aligned with our opponent. And I think I said so very clearly. And they didn't deny any of that in their response to us this morning. So I think that the IEA accepts that there's a certain order, that since it's a convention, there's a certain conversation that should also have taken place, which had not taken place. And I think they admit that fact, which is fine.
You've explicitly said there are other platforms, which sort of suggest that you might prefer to mount other platforms as opposed to the IEA.
We have no preferences. We are ready to debate
Is
any
your
day or
concern
time.
the fact that the person behind the IEA is aligned to the New Patriotic Party?
I don't even want to belabor that point. And I said that
You
earlier.
did highlight it. You said removing
I said,
the veil.
Yes,
we see
and I left
who...
at that. I'm a lawyer. I know exactly
Right.
when I want to stop.
Does it concern you, though?
Not necessarily. We've had IEA debates in the past.
Right. So
Many
what
of
has
them.
changed now? Now, you say you've had IEA debates in the past. In the statement you put out concerning the debates, which the IEA said plans were far advanced, and you took offense to that because how can plans be far advanced when the major opposition party has not been informed?
Not the major
Rightly so.
Well, at least today they admit that they have not consulted either of the political parties. So it's not me saying so. It means what I suspected is a fact, that they are trying to do someone's bidding. It is on them, a burden for them to disprove that assertion.
Now, in this statement, you also said that the IEA has not been constitutionally mandated to hold these debates. You've taken part in the debate subsequently. You've taken advantage of the platform previously. What has changed for you now, whereby you've just realized that this organization now does not have the power?
I have said so many times that this is merely a convention. We are not bound by any obligation of law or statute or regulation, for example. So you decide and choose whether you want to go for a debate or not. It is actually literally just a mere convention of democracy that is just nice for you to do so. But it is wrong for you to assume that we, a certain entitled space, that it is something you've been doing. When the immediate persons who are going to participate in your debate, who are going to be benefiting from your debate, who should actually be taking advantage of the platform that you offer, have one, not been consulted, two, there's been no conversation, three, there's been no correspondence, four, the question is simply, why a release when you haven't prepared the parties whom you're inviting? Look, nobody is going to be doing the bidding of the New Patriotic Party or their candidate for that matter. I've also stated categorically that we are not, as citizens, going to sit and allow people to run roughshod over us, and certainly not to allow the president to foist his running mate or vice president on anybody. I have said many times, demand accountability from the MPP and from their candidate. Demand the 170 questions posed at a time when Ghana wasn't bankrupt. And I'm sure you heard today, our debt stock stands at 742 billion from 120 in 2016. These are the things that matter. Ghanaians are starving. There's enormous hardship. The minister himself admitted that he empathizes with the good people of Ghana. Let's stop nitpicking and speak to the matters that concern citizens. Ghanaians are poised for a change in government because for 7 years and 8 months, we have seen absolutely nothing. In the scheme of things, when we are broke and bankrupt, when there is so much corruption that we don't even know which ones to pick and which allegations to believe, I think that the citizens of Ghana are interested more in who leads us more than what platform you go to speak on.
In saying that, and you say that you believe that the citizens of Ghana are more concerned as per who leads us, I'm just going to have us speak on this some more before we move on. This is a platform that will allow the citizens to, as you put it, hear what the NDC and the presidential candidate, the flag bearer, is going to be putting forward, given that he's given the nod. Can't John Dramani Mahama just be the bigger person and end the sort of tit-for-tat politics? Can't he be the bigger person and grant...
Where were you in 2016? I'm sure you were here in Ghana.
Certainly.
Where were you in 2020? I'm sure you were here in Ghana.
Right.
So please, I think that the buck stops with those who are in office. Responsibility today lies with those who are in government.
What would it take for John Dramani Mahama to mount this stage and
whatsoever,
address the Guinean people?
Nobody will dictate to anybody how, when, or where. That will not happen. And if you didn't demand for strict adherence from the powers that be, I see no reason why anybody wants to put any pressure on anybody. As I said, it lies on them to consult us, to ask us.
You say that you've engaged with them. You just said
no,
that
I haven't engaged. I said I've spoken with them. Yes, they called after they received my response to their release. And then today they decided to send another response, admitting ordinarily that they haven't done any consultations prior to.
And given that they've admitted this, does it in any way soften your stance?
I don't think my stance is a firm stance of any sort. No, we are on terra firma. That their release coming on the back of Dr. Bawumia's call will not dictate to anybody what we do and how we do it. And that the IEA must know. that is merely a convention, merely tradition, just another platform. We are going to Tamale on Saturday.
Yes,
we're going to
you
be
are going
launching
to
our campaign
launch the campaign on
2024.
Saturday, yes.
Certainly, John Mahama will be speaking on a much wider platform to the 34 million citizens of Ghana. We will be broadcast live on many media platforms. We will be on social media, you name it. So I think, and you know that I love social media, and it gets results. People follow your information in real time.
Well, it's different from a debate, but all right.
Well,
yes.
You know, I think we shouldn't put too much premium on the debate because, as I said, in the history of this country, John Mahama has been known to hold his own. He's had debates with President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo. We know how that one ended. They had a second one. On the third occasion, he declined because finally he had gotten what he wanted. On the fourth occasion, he declined. The person now comically jumping around and tossing all around platforms and screaming himself rough about wanting a debate literally has nothing to show. No message whatsoever. As I said, ask him to fix the economy. Ask him to tell us that between 120 billion and 740 billion cedis, what have they done in between? Ask them about corruption. You see, the reason why Ghanaians are poorer is because of the stealing, the graft, and all the bad things that are currently taking place. And of course, what was it that won then candidate Akufo-Addo the election? They campaigned on the grounds of corruption. They campaigned on reducing corruption. They campaigned on protecting the public purse. They campaigned on foreign exchange and had a whole committee set up when they won in 2016 to invite people from CSOs, for example, to come and help them to stabilize the foreign exchange. Today, the central bank admits that they made losses of 50 billion Ghana cedis. Who is holding them to account? There are very important conversations. If the IEA had even asked Dr. Bawumia, for example, to tell them specifically what he's doing to fix the economy, because why did candidate Akufo-Addo pick him in the first place? He told us he was at the Bank of Ghana and that he was a whiz kid. He understood the economy. He'd help him manage it. Where are we today on foreign exchange? When they took over, the dollar was 4.1 cedis. How much was fuel? How much was food? You know, look, there are very, very important things that bother the citizens of Ghana.
There are, and we're going
Fuel
to get to
prices
that.
are
We're
going
going
up
to
every
get
day.
to that.
Food
You're
is
launching
very
the campaign this
expensive.
Saturday.
Absolutely.
Right? We're not going to expect, we should not expect, the people of Ghana should not expect John Dramani Mahama to debate ahead of this
I
election.
don't want to put, you know, look, nothing is cast in stone. And as I said, the IEA does not dictate which platform we avail ourselves of. We don't work for the IEA. They don't pay us in our politics. The IEA is just one of the CSOs we have in Ghana. They may be a respected think tank, but that's about it. There are many platforms that we can choose. We can even come here and have a debate if that's what we want to do. If you invite us and we are willing and happy and able, why not? But like I said, don't make it seem as if you are running to the dictates of somebody who knew exactly that in 2020 his boss wasn't going to debate any opposition leader and even had the effrontery to tell him who to go and debate. The same man who asked us 170 questions. Why are you not asking him to respond to those questions today? Times are much harder. Conditions are a lot worse than what they inherited. Those are the things that matter, and I think that
those are the things you want to address.
That we ought to be addressed.
You've clearly highlighted there are other platforms that you can take advantage
Many,
of.
many
That's an open invitation to us, I believe, here at
time.
EIB, to host a debate, which you will honor.
Everybody is free to treat. If that's what you want to do, just make the offer.
Very well. We take you on your word for that.
Certainly.
Now, ahead of the campaign being launched this Saturday, what are the plans?
Well, we've got all these adverts out. We have jingles in many languages. In Dagbani, because we're going to Tamale. In Gonja, because Savannah is very close to Tamale. We have one in Frafra, and of course in Ga, in Chi, and the English ones are all over the country already. We are also looking at, you know, some engagements, community engagements in Accra and everywhere else, really. And, you know, these campaign launches are not just for us. Normally you have the diplomatic corps, people from all walks of life, civil society organizations, other political parties, even our fiercest rivals would normally join us for campaign launches. So it's actually a very large platform. We have an open invitation. There's a large park in Ghana's fastest growing metropolis, and I'm sure that Tamale is ready and poised to receive us on Saturday the 27th. And so yes, I invite all of you in the media especially to help us recommend our policies to the good people of Ghana.
Very well. We'll certainly be there. Now, talking about your policies, right? At Mohammed's media engagement some weeks ago, he explained that free SHS was started by the NDC, right? Now, do you think it's isn't it somewhat counterproductive politically for him to state this? Does it really matter who started free SHS? Isn't the concern not rather how it's set to be continued if he is given the nod?
I'm sure you observed that when he expressed that view or sentiment, there was no pump, no pageantry, no large billboards wasting Ghanaian taxpayers' money, no huge celebrations, no highfalutin promises that we're never going to keep. Listen here, it was just one of the policies that was people-oriented to support the Ghanaian child. In any case, we had had challenges with parity between the boy child and the girl child. We had free universal basic education, for example. In the days of Jerry Rawlings, they started with primary care in primary schools. If you remember, early childhood centers were all over the place. President Kodjo appeared and started with what? Preschool programs. They were very successful across the country. President Mills and John Mahama arrived. They looked at quality, the infrastructure, teacher training, and many other infrastructural issues that we had challenges with. Free senior high school is just a component of what our education requires. You know what the biggest challenge is today, as we speak, apart from corruption? That on the university campuses, tertiary institutions, for example, do you know that students are paying as much as 10,000 Ghana cedis to rent accommodation to stay on campus? You know, education has a long raft of issues beyond this debate about who started what. Why do you think they always want to bring us back to that debate? They have nothing else to show.
He raised it. Yes, you say you didn't do it with pomp and pageantry.
He was asked a question.
But that was his response.
And if you were asked a question, you have to respond because, of course, when people ask you a question, you must give them a response.
And his response highlighted that the NDC started.
And
is it necessary?
Why not if you ask me?
Right.
If you ask me, I'll still say yes. Did he do it with that pump and pageantry? Did he spend all that money on advertising it? No. But we have a people in government who celebrated exiting an IMF with Banku and Wache and all of that, and told everybody else to get lost. This is the kind of government we're dealing with. And the disrespect goes on. And people allow them to continue to do it. We have said that the buck stops with President Akufo-Addo and his vice president. Deliver on your promises.
All right.
Our debt stock today is 742 billion, Natalie. That is a huge conversation. That is a serious conversation. It is a huge indictment for all the highfalutin lies they told us. This is where we are. That is a scorecard. On corruption, they scored 0. On prosecutions, they scored 0. On everything that matters, on planting for food and jobs. At the time when it was running, we had high food inflation. So please, who has the record of holding the highest, even in terms of cost of food, basic? It is President Akufo-Addo. So please, I don't want us to keep coming back to their soft spot because at the end of the day, look, education is great for everybody. I come from northern Ghana. But for education, I probably wouldn't be having this conversation with you. I would love the same thing for my siblings and everybody else. And if there's anybody on whose side history knows this, it must be John Dramani Mahama. That is a fact.
So you're talking, we highlighted corruption, right? And yes, we did have President Akufo-Addo speaking extensively about how he's going to deal with corruption. He set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In the event that Mahama becomes president this year, how are you going to tackle corruption under the NDC?
If you check on all the records so far, on all the peer review mechanisms, if you look at the Afrobarometer report, the Ghana Integrity Initiative, for example, everybody appreciates the fact that Mahama did a lot in terms of his fight against corruption. What is it we're experiencing today? We have President clearing everybody who's accused or allegations are made of them, or they go and sit at home and they're cooling off. We sang all sorts of hymns about procurement and single source procurement. When was the last time? Today, our finance minister spoke for 3 hours. Not a sentence, not an iota, not a conversational debate even about tackling corruption. It tells you. So you see, each time they bring back conversations about their soft spots, ask them, put them to strict proof about the other things they fail to deliver on. Because remember, why are we poorer today, 7 years and 8 months later? It's because they've stolen all our money. And yet the opulence stays with them. We watch all the platforms they put up. We watch the monies they expend. And indeed, the most ridiculous thing I've heard so far is that Ghanaians are going to do what? When we're already burdened 1.9 million of us unemployed, and you tell us that what, you're going to allow us to buy phones on credit. Really? In the countries where people buy phones on credit, they have jobs, they have good roads, they have good medical facilities.
Yeah, I mean, we had Baumia highlight the fact that the NDC trashes most of those what he would describe as rather visionary, bold projects.
I said the bold
what you think it's a bad initiative?
The boldest project he could ever speak to is to fix the economy, is to fight corruption, is to stop the waste of public resources going around and telling lies.
So you say
that is what we disagree with.
John Dramani Mahama is going to fix the economy.
Course
he's going to
He
fight corruption and deal with corruption-related cases both under his administration and the previous
They will be investigated, and if proven, they'll be prosecuted. If that's why they are packing the courts, make no mistake, these allegations will not die peacefully. Ghanaians are demanding full accountability. They expect it. And any leader who takes over and fails to investigate fully and prosecute these offenders, you will not even have peace. Imagine 339 million cedis expended on a national cathedral. Do you know how many hostels that can build? Do you know how many health facilities that can build? Did you hear about how condoms meant for basic schools were stolen and nobody has even recovered them? And the cost of same. You've heard about recent numbers of HIV/AIDS cases in Ghana. Do you know that the HIV Commission is struggling for funds to run? Corruption has denied us of all of these things. On health, the National Health Insurance, for example.
So, Ms. Mokhtari, one office that's been set up as in the Office of the Special Prosecutor under Mahama-led administration, how is that office going to be treated?
It is a creature of statute.
Right.
And as I said, because we have all these, pomp and pageantry and celebrations of unnecessary things, it was the same with the inception of the Special Prosecutor's Office. President Akufo-Addo, then candidate, boasted about what he was going to do with that office. So short of going after his political opponents, on whom the allegations have not been substantiated, what else was he going to do with that office? They chased Martin Amido out of office. They chased Gloria Akufo out of office. Currently, the new special prosecutor himself is not free. So tell me, where is the real concern or interest on behalf of Akufo-Addo or Baumia to fight corruption? None whatsoever. Because all of the corruption is actually taking place on their doorsteps. They are monitoring, supervising, and part of it as well.
How different will that office be treated under a Mahama-led administration?
Because the office will be better funded. Look, in the history of this country, on governance, Mahama scores very highly. On media freedoms, he scores very highly. On the attempt to fight corruption, he scores very highly. I think that 8 years in the position, I'm sure that he has a very fair idea just what to do and do better. And I'm sure that on governance, one of the main things, for example, look at the number of ministers we have. One ministry with 3 deputies. One ministry that can take over all sorts of units and branches. We now have them all as independent, standalone ministries. When he invested in Ghana Gas, for example, what did that save us? 300 million in importation of gas. How have we fared over the years? You know, my sister, I think that sometimes we need to focus more on the fact that our citizens don't elect us into office because we can scream loudest, we can tell the biggest lies, the boldest of lies, or deceive everybody. You see, everybody allowed and pampered them so much that they've continued to tell these brazen lies, barefaced lies. In the face of rising debt, they promised never to go to the IMF. We are the IMF. And you heard the humility of the finance minister, literally begging for even more aid to support his budget. This is where we are. On that alone, they shouldn't even have a mouth to go around and campaign. And then to tell the story about giving people mobile phones. Really? Is that really a priority? How is that going to give me a job? By the time I became a deputy minister, Natalie, I was the head of my department. How many people today leave university and have this assurance that there will be jobs available for them? You know why that is not happening? Corruption, stealing, brazen, barefaced thievery is why Ghanaians are poorer. It's why Ghanaians are starving. It's why we don't even have decent, sustainable jobs for anybody. Right. What happened to Ghana Beyond Aid? What happened to putting my life, my presidency on the line to fight Galamsey? Tell me, what happened to all of those things? We talked about Ameri and all the noise they made in the past. Ameri is currently in Kumasi. It's now the property of the government of Ghana. It was paid for by taxpayers' money. Where is car powership? It is doing the same. Where are the IPPs? That's the reason why we have lights on. You know, look, If we had leaders who even appreciated the exigency of what history offers us, that leaders come into office and they will do their very best for the people. Not that contesting for president is not a light responsibility. Why would anybody want to be president of a country?
Certainly, it's a big responsibility.
Huge reason why you
now
want
let's
to be
just touch on the key policy that has been put forward by the NDC that has gained a lot of steam, the 24-hour economy policy. How is this really going to be rolled out to improve the lives of Ghanaians? Because many ask the question, how is it going to work?
Nobody's asking the question. Anybody you hear asking is one of the
Ghanaians are asking the question.
Oh, every Ghanaian who has heard us has actually lauded this policy. The Ghana Trades Union Congress, the Maritime and Dock Workers Union, all trade associations in Ghana believe that this is the one thing that government has not offered to partner for the private sector to do. When we were young students, the trade fair was employing us 24/7. When we were young students, Busy Internet was employing us 24/7. When we were young students, GCNet was employing us 24/7. And as my students said, it is one job that is available. It is open all day for 2 or 3 people to come and do. It means that at the end of the day, you even do it in 3 shifts. Why? There are companies currently that are running it. What is the reason why gas stations across the country are closing early now? Security is a big part.
It is. How's that going to be tackled?
I mean,
security.
If we didn't need more security, why would they be telling us the Interior Minister is offering only MPP members of Parliament opportunities to recruit into the police service? Why would they be doing that?
How is the issue of security going to be handled under a 24-hour economy?
We will ensure that we have more security personnel. Is this an opportunity for job creation? Mr. Mahama has announced a national service will go back to what? Military training. If you remember in the past, most of our military officers started from the national service. So we're going to go back there. Remember that we had schools where national service had farms, and all those grains were feeding what? The buffer stock company. We didn't have highfalutin names like Planting for Food and Jobs, where we had the minister literally stealing all our money under that initiative. You know what is happening to donor committees now? They're not giving money to this government. They don't trust them to tell the truth. They don't trust them to use the money for what it's meant for. And they believe that because of corruption, everything that you put into this system is stolen and shared just between a few. Everybody else is broke and poor. And our young people, you know what is the biggest challenges on tertiary campuses now? Anxiety and stress.
Right.
Because people don't know what to do next.
Now, on the issue of security, right, with the 24-hour economy, now we've had a UN ratio for effective policing, that's 1 to 500. Ghana falls short of that. So we
definitely fall short.
We do fall short. There's approximately 25,000 police personnel that we need to add on for your 24-hour economy policy to run effectively. Do you have that? We have that capacity to employ these numbers.
Why not? For the monies they're stealing, for spending $12 million on PDS, for spending 11.9 million on a Kwalugu dam that doesn't exist. Put all that into cities. You can pay a stronger police force, a stronger security service. You can even pay private security companies if that's what you need to augment what the state has. They've built 320 rooms for police. What have they done with the former police lands? State captured by persons in government, key actors. When we were young people, what was SNIC doing? They were investing in safe hostels for our students. It was a safe investment. It meant that our mothers and fathers who are retired will get their investment. What is happening today? You know, look, we must all start to demand of our leaders, right? Accountability. Look at the campaigns in other jurisdictions. The campaign on issues. Can you imagine Kamala going to tell a group of people that she was going to offer them what? A mobile phone, and you pay 1 cedi every month. Really? You wouldn't dare come out a second time even to speak. I think that I love one thing about John Mahama's campaign so far. We are focused on the issues. What matters? Cutting down the size of government to have 60 people, working our way back to the Constitutional Amendment Review Committee's recommendations, and being sure that we put together these very, very far-reaching recommendations. Because look, you know, behind every story, there's a history. Behind every legislation you see, there's a rationale. There was a good reason why Article 71 office holders were given the latitude that they were given under the 1992 Constitution. We now have a population of 34 million. Unemployment is a huge security threat. with at least 1.9 million people being unemployed. Corruption at the highest.
So you feel that the
Inflation at the
24-hour
highest.
economy is going to fix this unemployment
My sister,
deficit
if
that
it
we have
does
as a
nothing,
country?
it would close the gap. It would definitely close the gap.
Right.
And if we provide security, transportation, tax incentives, tax holidays, have you heard how much money is being given?
So apart from this 24-hour economy which has been highlighted, give me 6 other key policies that will be brought forward
smaller government
by the NDC.
120 amorphous numbers. What is the impact on the economy? Waste, all drawing on the same taxpayer money. Ghana received 113 billion in tax revenue last year. How have we expended it? You have 120 minutes. What do they do?
What are the policies?
So that's the first one. Slimmer government, cut bureaucracy, cut wastage, waste, and more waste. Cut government expenditure. President Mahama will definitely not be using your money on a private jet, for example. Where will he be going to? President Mahama will not be running all these funny, fanciful parties and ideas that nobody knows what they do with them. Apart from that, I've asked you a question. Professor Frimpong Boateng arrived here with a report by government's own cabinet subcommittee on Galamsey, for example. He pointed accusing fingers at members of government who are engaged in Galamsey. How have we fared?
What are the policies?
So yes, we will fight Galamsey.
Right.
What we will make sure we do is that we will stop catching the small boys and girls and deal with the kingpins who buy the huge excavators. That is another policy that is very far-reaching. Secondly, there was a whole idea about developing these eco parks, especially in our forest areas, so that when we die, you won't see my will bequeathing to my family land that does not belong to me, that belongs to the state. That is also important. Investigating all the state capture and allegations of same and returning to the state what belongs to the state is a huge factor. The biggest part is that we must first and foremost reduce poverty by recovering these monies and making sure that Ghana's poor stop sleeping hungry on empty stomachs.
So what are the 3 policies should we?
So I've told you. The first one is a slimmer government.
Slimmer government,
cut waste, cut
right.
government expenditure, reduce graft and corruption, save us from all the monies they're stealing. These are huge issues. The next thing is working the constitutional amendment process so that we reduce the amount of power that all of these executives have. That is a drain on the economy. He has also told us that his own appointees should not expect expression, which is a great thing. And all of us agree. Because when you look at the reasons why, the notes leading up to the preamble of the Constitution, there's a good reason why we add these things. Are they still relevant? No. Are they still feasible? No. We are indebted to the point where we can no longer pay our debts. 742 billion is what we owe, twice what it was a few months ago.
Right. So Ms. Mokhtari, this Saturday, what should the Ghanaian people expect
Ghanaian people should expect
from this campaign launch?
Reassurance that the incoming NDC administration is coming into work for the good people of Ghana. All we need to do as a people is to allow for a new leadership to reset. Look, Ghana needs to go back to factory settings. Nobody's happy. Nobody's pleased. Nobody's enjoying life as the people in government are doing. So we all need to sit up, vote wisely, as I keep saying, because Ghana deserves better.
So you heard that the aide to former President John Dramani Mahama, Joyce Ba Mokhtari, speaking to my colleague Natalie Ford, and we brought you that interview. It will be live on GH1 television, so stay with us right here on all EIB platforms, because that's how we draw the curtains on Starr today here on Starr 103.5 FM. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah, and at 6:30 we bring you Focus on Africa from the BBC. Do have a wonderful evening.